We have 6 days until February 23rd, which is when the Celtics versus Knicks take off for the third time this season. Right now, Knicks now in Marshall Green, they are blowing us out of the water in subscribers gain this month. So we have 6 days until we face their channel, and I want to be opposite, blowing them out of the water in this subscriber battle throughout the month of February. Help us beat Marshall Green and Knicks now. Right now, we have 6 days to do it, so don't miss out. Hit that sub button for me. All good things must come to an end, and Boston's really starting to face reality that this could be the last season they play together as a starting five. Of course, I'm talking about the Jays, Derrick White, Jrue Holiday, and Kristaps Porzingis, the starting five that took us to banner 18 in the 2024 NBA championship. But thankfully, the Celtics do still have 27 regular season games left together, and they do still have plenty of time to secure that championship back-to-back. Now, if they do that, we might be making a different video. But just in case, there isn't a lot of data that shows that Boston can keep going forward with this starting five and avoid all of those penalties thanks to the new CBA. So let's break it down here from Brian Robb of Mass Live. Boston is currently on the hook for $513 million in combined salary and tax penalties for the next season alone. Paying that type of bill would be record-breaking for any owner in the NBA history. So needless to say, there's some skepticism across the league. The Celtics' new boss will come in willing to foot that bill. Just how much the Celtics will need to trim is the bigger question. And you do have to admit, Wyc Grousbeck and Brad Stevens, they're geniuses. They're building this team to become a franchise of superstars. But it can't go on forever. It just legally can't with the new CBA. There's no way we can afford all of them without facing that many tax penalties. And whoever the next owner is, that's going to be a really large ask saying, hey, look, we created this roster without you, but now that you're here, can you keep this ball rolling and can you pay all these penalties while you're trying to juggle owning a new franchise? Because this starting five doesn't look like any other in the NBA. Yeah, sure, you may have one $50 million player, but I know for a fact you don't have two $50 million players for next year's salary. Yeah, you may have a $30 million player, but you have two $30 million players. Do you see where I'm getting at? Our starting five is really, really, really expensive, and for a good reason. These are five superstars in the NBA. Not to mention, we have the two highest salaries in NBA history. And now next year, when it's 2025-26, they'll have all those salaries, plus they're going to have 11 total players under contract. We haven't even gotten to the Sam Hausers and the Peyton Pritchards, who will also start their contract extension next season. Sam Hauser will. So this is all going to add up, and it's not going to look pretty for Boston, which is why I harp on 27 more regular season games before it's do or die. It is now or never to win a championship, to go back-to-back, and to keep this starting five together. And look, there is no guarantee that if they do win back-to-back, this starting five can stay together. But it may make more sense to Wyc and Brad Stevens say, look, they just won us not one but two championships. We have to play those penalties. We have to keep going. It may cost us our future draft picks, but we have to keep these guys together. If they don't go back-to-back, it's a lot easier for those two guys to say, well, this isn't the roster that can get us multiple championships and become that dynasty. And that's where it starts to get a little bit hectic, and you have to start realizing maybe we are going to have to say goodbye to not one, but multiple of these incredible players that we have grown to love over the last couple of seasons. So I have a question for you. Out of those starting five players that I did just mention, talking about Brown and Tatum and White, Holiday and Porzingis, if they ever had to possibly cut salaries and move forward without one of those players, my question to you guys is, which one player would you pick out of those five to possibly trade away? Go on ahead and let me know in the comment section down below. If you had to trade one player from the C's, who would it be? I'm not going to say my answer because I don't even know if I have one just yet. It's that hard to determine what this team would look like without having those 5 guys on our team. But we're going to talk about it. Who could possibly be on the chopping block this offseason if the Celtics do not win back-to-back? We still have time to complete that mission, but it might be a little bit dicey. Before I hop into that, let me tell you guys real quick about our sponsor here on Celtics Today by Chat Sports, and that is PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports app in America. I'm playing PrizePicks, so are 10 million active users right now. If you guys want to play PrizePicks, #1, it's the easiest part of my day. Everybody I know loves how aesthetically pleasing it is to play, and also, even somebody like my dad has found it one of the easiest parts of his day. All you guys have to do is just pick more or less on a player's projected stats, and you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. I know right now there are a few basketball games not being played, but later this week is when they'll ramp back up, so I'm a more person. I like more. I get very superstitious when I have less. So I will take King James and the Joker to do what they do best, score and board. So I will take more on them. But if you guys watched hockey recently, it's electric. So I'm going to go with Matt Boldy, Team USA, to have more than 2 shots on goals. You guys can mix and match sports. You can mix and match teams and players, collegiate and professional. If you guys want to go on ahead and get started, super easy to do so. You can play in over 30 different states, including Cali, Georgia, Florida, and Texas. Not to mention, every week there are promotions. Every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday, which is a discounted projected stat for a player. And every Friday is Flex Friday. Win or your money back guaranteed up to $20. Go on ahead and get started today by downloading the PrizePicks app, creating an account, and using promo code CLNS. This will give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. Download the PrizePicks app. Use promo code CLNS. This will give you guys $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. The first player I'm going to talk about possibly being traded away this offseason is Jayson Tatum. Obviously, the face of the franchise, he's done nothing but bring some sort of success to Boston since he put on that jersey. Multiple Eastern Conference Finals appearances. We even have a couple of All-Star appearances from him, and now he is a champion. If I have one piece of advice to give Brad Stevens, don't be Nico Harrison. Do not, on a Saturday night, on a Sunday, any day that ends with a Y, trade away the face of your franchise, which is Jayson Tatum. You keep him forever. Tatum's not going anywhere. If he is, then we have a bigger issue, because that means our GM and our front office is extremely messed up. You saw what Luka to the Lakers did, and that's never going to happen here. Could it happen with Jaylen Brown? Now, this recent comment did have a couple of people, shrugging their shoulders and raising their eyebrows that Jaylen Brown made about him being a noticeable captain on the Boston Celtics roster. I'm not disagreeing with it. I think Jaylen Brown is a strong vocal leader and a strong emotional leader for the Boston Celtics, but Jaylen Brown had to say over All-Star Weekend, he said, look, one, I'm the longest tenured Celtic. I've been here the longest. So even though we don't necessarily have it written down, the team moves the things me and Jayson do. I feel like my team relies on me to be the leader and to be the vocal leader. And once again, I am not disagreeing, but I do believe there's strength in numbers. I don't envision the Celtics without JB and JT. I think they are so great because they are so dominant together. I think they'd be great individually, but the reason why they are so dangerous is because when you try to double team a Tatum, good luck, because Brown is available, vice versa. And these are a duo that I think makes the Boston Celtics so lethal moving forward. I think other teams search for that duo that the Jays have. But I don't know if forever can be a possibility because they are the 2 highest paid players in the NBA. Keep the Jays together forever, or is this something that should end? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I know this is going to stir a lot of people up in the comment section. Producer Smitty and I already kind of went into it a little bit earlier, but I want to know how you guys feel. Type Y for yes, type N for no. The bald baller, which a lot of you guys have been calling him in our live shows for the Boston Celtics games. Derrick White, obviously one of the best trades Brad Stevens has made to this date. He continuously gets better, and I really feel like even at 30 years old, Derrick White has not hit his true ceiling just yet. But there is an undeniable truth when it comes with Derrick White and his skill set. It's because he is 30 years old. He has never been an all-star, although he does have a lot of all-star potential. Not only that, but there's a lot of trade potential there as well. He can be another asset for another team very quickly the way he has been so for Boston. And I think what gets really frustrating with a guy like Derrick White is he's so good, but he doesn't make as much as Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, which makes him a lot easier to trade. So now that Derrick White, who makes not even close to the max, is easier to move around, and knowing that he still has a lot of skills to unlock, that could be pretty eyeing for another team. The same can't be said for Jrue Holiday, who's a lot older than Derrick White. I think he's 35 now, 34 maybe. I mean, Al Horford's 38, so he's one of the older guys on our roster. Something about Jrue Holiday is that he did just sign a 4-year contract extension, which should put him in Boston until the end of his career. And the reason why Holiday is a little bit tougher to trade is because I don't think you're going to win that trade. I don't think you're going to get back as much as you are willing to give away, which is an all-NBA defensive leader. I mean, hell, he was my vote for Defensive Player of the Year last year. Who's to say he can't reach that this year? I will admit he's been slipping on both ends of the court. Maybe it's injuries, maybe it's father time, I don't know. But because of the decrease in his capabilities and because he's older, it might be harder to trade him away and get stuff back that's going to make the Celtics that much better the way that Holiday did when he was traded to Boston. Last but not least, this is the angel and devil on my shoulder. Obviously, the angel, keep Porzingis forever because he is the difference maker, but also the devil, trade him away because you can't rely on him as much as you want to. And unfortunately, that's why he is the unicorn, because he's so rare at what he can do at 7'3". But you have to keep in mind, maybe Brad Stevens sees there is an end date for KP because he's the only Celtic that isn't signed long-term. Derrick White, Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, Jrue Holiday, all contract extensions. KP, not signed after 2026, which means I think there could possibly be a trade moving forward. He's 29 years old. He hasn't played more than 57 games for the Boston Celtics. I don't know if he ever will, as he's only had one season over 60 games. So it is one of those undeniable truths, again, where KP, as magnificent as he is, can Boston still get something for him if they were to trade him in the offseason? I think yes. So if you had to keep one, let's say you're keeping the Jays, right? Tatum and Brown are there forever. If you had to keep one other player forever, who would it be? Derrick White, Jrue Holiday, or Kristaps Porzingis? I feel like I'm choosing a favorite child right now, and I don't even have children. Go on ahead and let me know in the comment section down below. As always, if you haven't already, help us beat Knicks now in our subscriber battle. You have 6 days to do so. Hit that sub button for me.